Solar leases and solar panels have become extremely popular over the last 10 to 15 years. It's getting more and more common that properties out here in the desert, or properties just about anywhere, have solar panels on them. Today we're going to be talking about two different options. When solar is owned, but most importantly, when the solar panels have a lease that need to be transferred as part of the property and part of the sale. You'll want to be very careful in how you're qualifying and make sure that that solar lease payment is included in your qualifying ratios to make sure that everything's going to go through. It's not a normal thing where we're normally counting the debt for your utility usage, but it's a requirement when the property has solar panels and that there is an actual lease associated with those solar panels. We're going to be talking about all that and more on today's episode of Woke Wednesdays in Real Estate. Thank you so much for joining me. This is solar and your financing. There are all different kinds of things that go into how you qualify for a loan. Typically, we're looking at the principal and interest payment, insurance, taxes, and any HOA payments or anything that's property specific that's going to go into the total overall payment. Today we're going to be talking about solar leases and making sure that you qualify to assume that solar lease, but also make sure that you're qualifying for that payment because it's all going to be included in the cost of qualifying and the cost of home ownership. So normally we're looking at PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. HOA payments will need to be added in there as well. If you have an HOA or a solar lease payment, those have to be calculated into the qualifying ratios as well. So make sure when you're out there looking and you're looking with your loan officer and your real estate agent that you are accounting for solar, if that's a priority for you, and you're accounting for the HOA payments as well. So those are two big things that can throw off your qualification in today's market. Solar leases are becoming more and more popular as homeowners have chosen to improve their properties and add solar to the property. Now, it's usually a huge incentive and a huge value add if the property has owned outright solar. That means you're not going to have any of these lease payments and you're just going to have a small adjustment every year for your SoCal Edison or your IID utility bills. With the solar lease, you're making the payment every month for your average consumption, but when you're going to qualify for the house, you actually have to assume the solar lease, qualify for it, and then those payments are added into how you qualify. And normally, we're not taking the utility costs into consideration when we're qualifying you, but we are required to include the monthly payment if you are in fact purchasing a property that has a solar lease with it. So there's a transfer form, you fill out the application, you send in your credit report or authorize them to do that, and then they're actually getting you qualified to assume the solar lease that the seller put in place. It's really simple. When you're aware of it, you set the expectations and you know what to look for. But when you get qualified, typically they're just doing PITI. They may ask you if you're looking at HOAs or an average of what an HOA would look like if you're looking in that area. But a lot of people don't take into consideration if the solar lease payment will be included in the debt to income ratios, and it could be the difference between qualifying or not qualifying. So what do you think about that? Do you think the solar lease is really important? Would you buy a house that has solar over one that does not? I mean, I think having the owned solar has a huge incentive, totally like reducing your costs and everything, but at the same time, is it a better situation for you. So it's something to consider when you're purchasing your property. Give us a comment if you've either purchased a property with solar or you're interested in buying a property with solar. Let me know what kind of questions you have. If you're going through a transaction and you're having a tough time, I'm here to answer all of your questions, whether you use me or not for your financing. I want to be a sounding board and answer your questions. So whatever I can do to help out. The link to apply is below. The phone number's below here, 760-835-5663. If you just want to shoot me a text or give me a call, you can reach me directly right there. This has been another episode of Woke Wednesdays in Real Estate. Today we're talking about solar leases. I think it's really good information out there. If you're a first-time buyer, you may not know that there are all these different things to consider. It's important to stay hungry for knowledge and get all of your questions answered because there are just so many details in the real estate industry these days. So, I hope it helped out. Check out some of the other videos if you're interested. The playlist for this one's Woke Wednesdays. This is all the macro information about real estate in general. And then I have Monday Mortgage Madness on the same channel where we're talking about all the micro details and different situations with loan programs, qualifying, what you need to consider when you're qualifying, and all that jazz. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope to hear from you soon. Make it a great day. Stay hungry and stay positive. I'll talk to you soon.